Hello and welcome back to Old Truthford, the home of honestly biased sports content. This is the match reaction to Man United v Luton Town. 1-0 Manchester United. We win again. Now, in a game which I can only describe as like watching paint dry, the first half was some of the most boring yet safe football I think I've ever watched in my life. So and that sounds a bit like an exaggeration, but it wasn't. In the first half, it's hard to think of too many positives. Højlund had a chance, and then that's about it. Other than that, we literally just passed the ball around. We were safe. We didn't risk too much. A lot of possession in our favour. In the first 10 minutes, we had about 93% possession. And yeah, it was one of those games where we weren't willing to risk going all guns blazing in the chance that potentially Luton Town could catch us on the counter-attack, which they could. I mean, they've got players like Andros Townsend, Ross Barkley, who are more than capable of doing that. But the most important thing is we got the win, and yeah, that came by way of Marcus Rashford fizzing in a cross from the right-hand side, ricocheting off a Luton player, and Victor Lindelof was there to capitalise, to score that goal, which gave us for 3 points. So here we are. Second half, we created a few more chances. Very sloppy from our forwards. Garnacho in particular, it's a positive that he's getting in these good positions. However, I think the fact that he hasn't been able to at least get a few goals this season is worrying. Again, he's a youngster, so it's not too worrying, but I still think he's not at that level to be a starting player for Man United with the level that his finishing and first touch is currently at. I still think he needs some work. And when he receives that extra training, I think he's really going to explode one season. But for now, I'd prefer to keep him as a super sub, in all honesty. Nick, it's going to be a match you will forget in a month's time. Nothing really worth remembering. Yeah, exactly. It's the only reason it would be memorable is because Lindelof scored, and he doesn't score very often. So all credit to Lindelof. But yeah, no. Just one of those games. We get the win, safe performance, all good. Let's move over to the player ratings. So Onana, I think he had a very decent game. Made some decent saves, to be fair. Can't remember too many shaky moments. And kept the clean sheet. I would give him a 7 out of 10. As for Maguire, also very assured performance. I can't think of any negatives towards Maguire's performance there, in all honesty. I would give him slightly higher than Onana because I feel he was involved in play more, especially getting the ball out wide to Garnacho. He was really spreading the play today. I would give him a 7.4. I think Maguire had a very good game. And this is Lindelof as well. So Lindelof, even though I think he had a slightly worse game than Maguire defensively, again, that's not me saying he had a terrible game because everyone essentially had a good game, given the fact that we kept the clean sheet, the defensive unit, they all had a collective good game. But Lindelof was slightly worse than Maguire. However, did score the match-winning goal, so he's got to be rewarded for that, and that's why Victor Lindelof will pick up an 8.2. Now, Diogo Dalot. Can't think of anything he did too poorly. Nothing burst out as, okay, that was atrocious, but he did leave a lot left to be desired going forward. He was passing back to Maguire quite a bit. I would give Dalot a 6.7. 6.7. 6.5 is average for me, so I'd say he's just above average. Obviously played a part in keeping the clean sheet, so can't knock him for that, but 6.7. Sergio, I think he was spamming in crosses all day, showed good defensive work rate. Not a lot of people got past him. I'd give Sergio 7, or no, to be honest, I'd give him a 6.9. I give him a 6.9 for that performance. I still think the two centre-backs played a lot better than the full-backs. As for Ericsson, subbed off due to injury, sadly. I will give him a 6 out of 10. Or, that's a bit harsh. I'll give him a 6.4. It was just below average because he didn't really play any part in the match at all. McTominay. I think McTominay had a pretty decent game, to be honest. I think it was solid from him. I'd give him a 6.9 as well. Fernandez, I don't know. The problem with Fernandez is when he doesn't get a goal or assist, people will say that, oh, okay, he didn't have a very good game. But I think Fernandez had an average game, if not just above average. So I'm going to give him a 6.8. I don't think he had a better game than McTominay, in all honesty. I think he was taking too many shots from outside the box when he could have kept it tighter. He could have just kept transferring the ball from one side to the other. But he was taking the shots where there were three bodies in front of him and he just ends up skying it. Garnacho, I was frustrated with Garnacho, but at the same time, you have to say he's getting in good positions, so I don't want to discredit him too much, but at the same time, he didn't have an amazing performance. I think I'd give him a 6.8 as well, to be honest. Rashford did put the cross in, fizzed the cross in, which Lindelof ended up scoring from. On the right-hand side, he wasn't really involved in the game, but I think that's due to the link-up play between him and Delo, because we saw in the Copenhagen game, the link-up play between him and Wan-Bissaka was actually quite good, and that's how we scored so early on. Whereas with Delo, there was no apparent link-up play between the two of them. But our goal did come through a Marcus Rashford action indirectly or directly, so I'm going to give him a 6.9. Nick, Delo, one good shot on goal, but mistakes defensively. Yeah, it's a hard one for Delo when his main positive is, I don't know, a long shot. Like his main positive is, oh yeah, he can score an amazing goal once in a season, but for the remainder of the season, he put a good cross into McTominay where McTominay could have possibly done better. I'll give him credit for that, but yeah, no, definitely not the best. Now, Højlund, he had that chance early on in the first half, but did he do anything? Like, I don't think Højlund was even involved in the game. If Martial had the exact same performance as Højlund, I don't think a lot of people are rating him very highly. I'd say it was average. I think that was just average from Højlund. I don't think it was amazing. Don't think it was bad. It was just he was there, but didn't particularly do anything too well. But yeah, those would be my player ratings. If it weren't for the goal from Lindelof, obviously Harry Maguire would have been man of the match, but you can't just pretend like a goal didn't exist. We wouldn't have won that match without Lindelof, so you have to give credit where credit's due. Let's see what the Discord have voted for everyone. Okay, so first we will go through Onana's performance. Now, Onana in the Discord has picked himself up an average rating of 6.2. Okay, that's interesting. So this is the Discord ratings. Onana picked himself an average rating of 6.2. I think he was a bit better than that. Like, it was taking a bit of credit away from him. He kept a clean sheet, made some decent saves. Bit harsh on that side for Onana. Lindelof, I'm sure this will be a decent score for Lindelof. And Lindelof picks himself up a 7.8. Okay, Maguire. Maguire now on average from everyone's votes from the Discord. He has picked himself up a 6.3. Wow, okay. Interesting here from the Discord. So Maguire's picked himself up a 6.3 rating. Delo has picked himself up the exact same rating as Maguire. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. Somehow in the Old Truthford Discord, Delo got the same score as Maguire. That's kind of mind-boggling. Now Sergio, what did Sergio pick up? On average, Sergio has picked himself up a score of 6.4. Okay, so according to this, Sergio is the second best. I don't know why Harry Maguire and Onana have been rated so low. It's a bit confusing, that. But we move. Ericsson picks himself up a score of 5.3, which again I think is pretty low considering he didn't have too bad of a game and then was forced off through injury, so not really factoring in anything there. McTominay. He has picked himself up a 5.8. People very much not happy with this performance. Okay, Fernandez picks himself up an average score of 6.5. Meanwhile, Garnacho picks himself up an average rating of 6 out of 10. So far, Ericsson is our lowest rated, which makes sense because he didn't play that much. But for McTominay to get a 5.8 and for Maguire to get the same rating as Delo, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here with the Old Truthford Discord. I would like to think that the peeps have more faith in the team, but I think after that match, it's really put a dampener on their mood, even though we've won. Højlund with a 6 out of 10. Højlund wasn't really involved in the match. Now Rashford, I think I can predict the future here, and Rashford will get like nothing out of 10 or something. Okay, so Rashford on average. Oh yeah, here we are. Rashford on average gets a 4.8 out of 10. So, yep, people have voted Rashford as the lowest rated, even though he put the cross in, which we scored from. Cool. I don't know. People are people. Those are my ratings. I think even though it wasn't ideal, I think a lot of these could have turned into 7s had people made the most of their opportunities, but the team was still functioning properly. And yeah, I don't think it was that bad of a match. It was just a lack of proper talent seeping through. It was a lack of people being clinical and actually taking their chance. Whereas these ratings from the Discord would indicate that everyone had a bad game other than Lindelof, Sergio, Fernandez. But yeah, those are the player ratings. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next one after the international break. But in the meantime, going to be posting a few produced videos, so to speak, on different topics. But yeah, thanks for tuning in and Godspeed.